Stress is the body's natural response to intense situation that is perceived as challenging or threatening to a person's well-being. It is separated into two types. Distress, which is the bad stress. Eustress, which is the good stress. Here are some basic things that occur while we become stressed. Alarm reaction. The alarm reaction stage occurs when a threat or challenge activates the physiological stress responses. Resistance. The person's ability to cope with the environmental demand rises above the normal state during the resistance stage. Exhaustion. People have a limited resistance capacity, and if the source of stress persists, they will eventually move into the exhaustion stage. But what causes stress? Stressors are the causes of stress. They include any environmental conditions that place a physical or emotional demand on a person. These stressors are separated into several categories. Work-related stressors, interpersonal stressors, role-related stressors, task control stressors, organizational stressors, physical environment stressors. Let us see now, more analytically, what are some of the interpersonal stressors. Workplace violence. Who's experienced stress? Victim. Observer. Non-directly experienced or observed violence if they work in jobs that expose them to a higher incidence of violence. Psychological and sexual harassment interpersonal stressors, which includes repeated and hostile or unwanted conduct, verbal comment, actions or gestures that affect an employee's dignity or psychological or physical integrity and that result in a harmful work environment for the employee. Sexual harassment interpersonal stressors includes unwanted sexual relations, called quid pro quo. Experiences sexual conduct from others, called hostile work environment. Role-related stressors refer to three specific groups. Role conflict refers to the degree of incongruity or incompatibility of expectations associated with a person's role. Role ambiguity refers to the lack of clarity and predictability of the outcomes of a person's behavior. Work overload refers to working more hours and more intensely during those hours than they can reasonably handle. Task control stressors. It refers to low task control, which is a stressor because it increases the burden of responsibility the employee must carry. There are three main types of task control stressors. Organizational and physical environment stressors. Downsizing is stressful for those who lose their jobs. Layoff survivors also experience stress because of the reduced job security, chaos of change, additional workloads, and guilt of having a job as others lose theirs. Work non-work stressors refers to factors from work that affect non-work and vice versa. Time-based conflict refers to the challenge of balancing the time demanded by work with family and other non-work activities. Strain-based conflict occurs when stress from one domain spills over to the other. Role behavior conflict occurs when people are expected to act quite differently at work than in non-work roles. People have different stress experiences when exposed to the same stressor. The main reasons for that are, 1. They have different threshold levels of resistance to the stressor. 2. People use different coping strategies, some of which are more effective than others. 3. People have different beliefs about the threat and their ability to withstand stress. Resilience and stress management refers to the capacity of individuals to cope successfully in the face of significant change, adversity, or risk. There is a very strong correlation between stress and workaholism. There are three main types of workaholism. Classic workaholic or work addict is highly involved in work, feels compelled or driven to work because of inner pressures, and has a low enjoyment of work. Enthusiastic workaholics have high levels of all three components: high work involvement, drive to succeed, and work enjoyment. Work enthusiasts have high work involvement and work enjoyment, but low drive to succeed. As we have explained on the first module of this mental health awareness program, every mental illness and effect can be separated on 3 categories: physical, psychological, behavioral. The physiological consequences of stress include: stress response shuts down the immune system, which makes you more vulnerable to viral and bacterial infection. The main psychological consequences are the following: job dissatisfaction, moodiness, depression, lower organizational commitment, emotional exhaustion. The behavioral consequences are: job performance falls, memory becomes impaired, workplace accidents are more frequent, decisions are less effective, absenteeism, workplace aggression. All these can lead to job burnout, the process of emotional exhaustion, cynicism, and reduced feelings of personal accomplishment resulting from prolonged exposure to stress. In order to be able to manage stress, we need to set some objectives. We need to become aware of negative stress symptoms, determine the sources, determine the cause, cope with the stress by, eliminate stressors, develop resiliency. Effective time management can enable managers to gain control over their time and organize their fragmented, chaotic environment. Effective time management means spending time on important, not just urgent matters, distinguishing clearly between importance and urgency, focusing on results, not methods, not feeling guilty when saying no.